Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Rick here, back again with another video, Journey to £1 million, episode 17, where we're talking about getting rich in order to help the poor. If you like this series, if you're enjoying these kind of things, make sure to like the page and let's get into this. I once quoted a quote by someone called Wallace D. Wattles. It's the first line of the book, The Science of Getting Rich. And he said, whatever may be said in the praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. This statement got me in so much trouble. It got me in so much trouble with some of my church friends. And they were really going like, ooh, these people didn't think that for us to be in our faith, it was a good thing to get rich. And I think I may have just put it out there just to be provocative. But there's a couple of back and forth that happened where we ended up discussing faith. And I just want to really kind of talk to you guys and give you some of the reasons I think that I'm a proponent of this statement. And this is one of the reasons why I even do Journey to £1 Million. So, getting rich, becoming a millionaire, becoming financially successful, it's important for the inspirational and practical example that you can be to break cycles of poverty, because poverty is a real thing in this world. And in my community, in the people I know, in people of my skin color, in people who live in the kind of ghettos that I know of, you know what? Poverty really is messing people up. And it's important in your life, in your loved one's life, and in the lives of people who look at you from afar. It's important to create wealth, because, I'm not gonna lie to you. Whenever I see someone who's become a millionaire, who's made £1 million, someone who either looks like me, someone who came from a similar place as me, or even someone who has a similar personality to me, it's almost like wind under my wings. I feel an uplifting, and I'm like, yeah, I can do it. You know what? It's something that makes me throw away excuses. It makes me throw away some of the excuses that I give myself on why, whenever people are there going like, oh, we're all poor because there's racism out there. We're all poor because, we live in like council flats. We're all poor because our parents were working class. When you see someone who looks like you make it and make £1 million, there's no denying. It really just gives you some juice where you're like, ooh, maybe I can do it. And let's look at some of the reasons then why becoming rich is a good thing. And this is what I wanted to do with this. Now, I'm not going to give, besides the old adage, like I think Tony Robbins is the one who said that. He's like, I'd rather show up for my problems in a Rolls Royce than in an old banged up car. But besides that old little quip, I'm going to give you some real reasons, some proper proofs and arguments on why I believe that, when you get rich, you are able to help the poor, and you help the poor. Like, first off, when you become rich, you change your mindset from poverty to abundance. Let's just get that straight. When you get rich, you change if you get rich, like through hard work, not through stealing from people, you change your mindset from poverty to abundance. One of my favorite pastimes is studying millionaires and billionaires, studying out, their life stories, their ethos, their like general outlook on life. And I have seen that overwhelmingly, for the ones who are self-made, the self-made millionaires and billionaires, something changed in them while they were in the process of becoming rich. They started to see, see the abundance thing, and they stopped competing, just like, senseless competition, but they started seeing themselves as creators of opportunity for others. They started creating, started to build infrastructure for opportunities. That's what they started doing. Take a look at Amazon, for example. Amazon now makes it easier. If you're a writer and an author, it's now so easy for you to self-publish through Amazon because of the technology they created while becoming a big company and a very rich company. I think the owner of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, is now officially the richest man in the world. But, that's before Amazon. Publishers were destroying authors. Publishers were kind of like just like stiffing up authors. Publishers were making it so difficult. You could never get your book published if you weren't if you didn't go through a publisher. It was really difficult. Now we can self-publish. Second one, okay, that's the first thing. Second thing, when you become a millionaire, you bring much needed cash into your community. Now, this is a big one because we're always talking about how our communities are so poor and all this, and we're always complaining who's the one who's got privilege, who causes, who puts structural biases in our way that make us not be able to create wealth. But if you become a millionaire, you are able then to bring that much needed cash to your community, and it gives opportunities and it raises living standards in your community. You enrich your teams, you enrich your employees, you enrich, your suppliers of your business, because no business can operate without its suppliers. You enrich your investors, you enrich your government, with all the taxes that you end up paying, then can help people around you. You enrich even your customers. If you're really, really good and you could deliver really quality products and services, the standard of life of your customers is improved. Let's take a look at a problem of gentrification, for instance. That's something a lot of people I know complain about. Gentrification is this thing when some people say, oh, maybe let's say a black neighborhood, a historically black neighborhood, starts getting people from other races come in and buy up properties, and then what this does is it raises the house prices there, and so the poorer black people then have to they get priced out of the market, so have to end up moving out of that area. It's how about if we then ourselves got rich through the kind of principles that I'm talking about here in the journey to £1 million, and we started to teach those to other people of our race, other people of our community. This would mean that we would be able to buy up our own houses, buy out our own neighborhoods, restore them ourselves to like beauty and everything, and then we're not moaning about gentrification, because I just see too much moaning and no solutions. This is why in the journey to $1 million, I'm trying to do a journey to $1 million, because I want to say to you that it can be done, and hopefully someone out here can then say, oh, I can do it. I too can do it. All right. You get me? You're getting me worked up here. The third reason why, I think getting rich helps. Getting rich helps the poor, is that as you become rich, you inadvertently become a role model. Now, I mentioned this earlier, but I think it's really, really good to hit that. You become a role model inadvertently. Do you know the power of seeing people who look like you in positions of economic power? Do you know how much that is so? It's one of the principles of life, is that if someone that looks like you has ever made it, then you too can do it. But all you need to do is put in the time and put in the work. That's all it's going to take. So, I'll tell you an example. As I was growing up in Zimbabwe, all the people because I used to watch a lot of TV and read a lot of books, all the people that I knew were Americans that were doing this. But then, as a young man, I heard of a guy called Strive Masiyiwa. Strive Masiyiwa is the chairman of a company called Econet. And even as I followed him, and then later on he moved out of Zimbabwe and went to South Africa and applied the principles to creating an amazing company now, an amazing Econet Wireless is an amazing telecoms company that's like just amazing. This man probably became our first billionaire out of Zimbabwe, or official one, and definitely the first international billionaire, where even now, he's companies in so many African countries, in New Zealand, he does so many, he invests in America, in UK. Do you know that when I saw that, there was an imaginary limitation that went off in my head, where before I had just thought, I am underneath these Bill Gateses and these other guys who don't look like me. But now I saw a guy who looked like me, and in my head I kind of set myself. I looked at him and I set him as a role model, friendly competition, like a peg post. That I gotta reach where he is, because I've got the same potential in me. He's a Zimbabwean, I'm a Zimbabwean. We can do great things. And lastly on this, let's not forget that when you become a millionaire, your family, especially your children, benefit directly from this. Let's not, obviously, there's the money that you bring into the house, so you give your kids a big start in life. Now, many of us are jealous of rich kids. Let's be honest, we're jealous. We're jealous of rich kids for this very reason, because we're annoyed that our parents didn't go out and do crazy things and learn some things and all this, and then now we're suffering because they never did it. Deep inside, we wish our parents had made the right economic choices. We wish that they had been exposed to great wealth when they were growing up, so they could teach us those things and wealth values. And we wish that they had been given a good life, a great start in life, so that they could have given us a great start in life. Why do you think it is that when we see rich kids, we keep saying, oh, rich kids are spoiled and all this? Oh yeah, they're spoiled. And I'm not talking about spoiling your children, but giving them that opportunity. Giving your children that opportunity to go further is an amazing thing. Why wouldn't we want the same for our kids? It's there's a generation now where, our generation, millennials, is the first generation that's worse off than our parents. Now, it's not our parents' fault. Our parents they didn't know. They didn't know about these principles. When they went to school, they were just told to get a job. They never knew about wealth principles. But that's why I'm sharing these, so that you can't use that excuse and then give your children nothing, because your children one day will stand with you and say, Dad, Mom, where were you when others were learning how wealth is created? Why did you give me this disadvantage in life? That's why you can't be lazy. You gotta learn. We gotta learn. So there are definite advantages to becoming a millionaire and to becoming rich. Hence, journey to £1 million. The people who will benefit. And, I've talked about some reasons why. But, let's bring this up. Who are the people that are going to benefit when you become a millionaire? First of all, the young people of our community are going to benefit. The young people of our communities, they're going to benefit. They're not then going to be dragged into gangs, into drugs, into prostitution, into becoming stupid, doing stupid things for attention and for money. Instead, they're going to see the role model that, through the laws of money that my mom learned, now I learn how to become a millionaire, even from the starting point of a low-wage job, for example. The other thing is the financial burden that we have put. This is not like a pet thing for me that's really, really getting me, is that there's a financial burden that we are putting on our women and on our elders in this generation. Let me tell you about this, where because of the economic times are hard economically, and a lot of our women have to go to work and work incredible amounts of hours, and really, really take up all that stress, and yet still have to do all those duties in the house. Same goes for our elders, where our elders who were supposed to have retired a long time ago are having to go back to work. I know of people our mothers that are going to work at 70 years old because they cannot afford to afford, because we're not doing anything. We're not getting that. Our generation is not hitting that, is not getting the secrets of wealth. This is why these are the people who will get benefited by us becoming, but when you become a millionaire. Again, I'm going to go somewhere else a little bit that I bet you've never heard of. But I think the principles of wealth creation, or at least stewarding money and learning how to manage money well, should be applied by charitable organization. One of the bane of my life is seeing charities, churches, non-profit organizations that don't know the value or how to manage money. One of the symptoms of this is that they just keep on asking for money, and there's no accountability of what's happening with this money. Basically, most of them just think that they're not required to learn the skills of money, because they just go, oh, well, we're a charity, we're a church, we should never know about these things. But no, that's not the way it goes. You've got to be if you want my money to be donate, I want to see that you're doing something worthwhile with that money. I'm not saying go out and be a shark, a financial shark, but at least when I want to see some records of the good things you're doing with money, and also other things that you're really using to grow that money. Let me show you a hypothetical example. Work with me here, because this is something I've been thinking about for a bit. Imagine a charity that takes care of the destitute, the orphans and the widows in its own city. That's the premise of this charity. But with all its donations, this charity takes 30% of all the money that it gets and puts it in a trust, and has some wealth creator board members there actually invest. Their only job is to invest, and to invest that money in for-profit endeavors, that will bring medium and long-term returns only to that charity, not to the people, but to the charity itself. So these people have got to be rich themselves, so that they can work for free, but then use those principles and bring money for long-term benefits. Part of this wealth then that it generates is used to wean off the recipients of that charity from living off of charity forever. So imagine they've got a fund, and part of that fund then goes to those destitute and homeless people that are there and helps them invest in their skills. Maybe they start businesses and they go off, so they can then become financially independent. They don't need to be taken care of by that charity, and then the charity can go out and find new people. That way you can actually solve poverty. Not just all you do is just keep on and keep on. Like people are they're on the breast of a charity, then they can't get off. It becomes a life and lifestyle of charity. They can't even do. But no, when we think about this a little bit multi-dimensionally, and we're thinking, wow, these are great ways. Then also the charity is not beholden to donations, because let's say they've grown that charity, and after 5 years that 30% they've grown is actually bringing them dividends that are so much more, and even maybe half of the money that was donated. And then if a financial crisis happens and people stop donating, that charity doesn't go out of business. That charity doesn't start begging people for money, because they are responsible with money. They're good stewards with money. I wish more charities knew this. Personally, that's the type of charity that I would want to buy. I'm not really good at running a charity, but I am at the moment creating wealth so that I can find people and partner with them, and then be able to teach them some of these principles so that they can go and we can really, really change the way charitable organizations work. This is the amazing thing about becoming a millionaire. You change, and you can help the poor change your mind. So, I do look at developing countries, the way developing countries have used microfinance, for example, that Muhammad Yunus started in Bangladesh a while ago. It's now a really, really big thing, where literally they're going and helping women in the back of nowhere just to get small little loans, so that they can just get a sewing machine and do small little business ventures, and they can get small loans without collateral, because they are saying, okay, let's take these wealth creating principles and apply them to helping the poor. So again, as I finish, I like to just do some really practical things. So what can the poor, if you're poor, what can you do right now? I'm saying about this, wealth, getting rich will help the poor, but what can poor people do right now? Trust me, I was poor. That's how I started. Number one, you should become aware of your finances. Now, when you're poor, one of the worst things is that you don't want to look at your finances, because you're thinking, I'm poor, I don't want to even see how bad it is. But to get off the victim level, and there's some levels of wealth, but if you're on a victim level, the bottom level, to get off that level, you must bite the bullet and start to measure at least even just your outgoings and the income that's coming into you. Because if you don't know, then how can you solve it? If you don't know, then how can you do something about it? Number two is that, you got to step up to your financial duties, right? It's an admirable thing for your kids to have an inheritance. It's an admirable thing for your kids to have an inheritance. And that's what a good parent does, So actually say, wow, even just for the duty, even if I have to go and do a demeaning job to begin with, just as your duty to your children, start doing something. Go and watch the first 16 episodes of this Journey to £1 Million. You'll find them on this page. Go and watch them and see all the amazing different things you can do to do your duty. Your duty as a parent, your duty as a husband, your duty as a provider. And number three, you need to commit to the basics. It's going to be near on impossible for you to make 1 million if you have no commitment to even the basics of wealth creation. This is what you can do when you're poor, right? So start with the little things, like, an example, like, and this is a good example for me, not going out to eat every single day, but like, having takeout as a doing that and making that a little treat for yourself, and you only do it occasionally, and you save money that way. Now that's just a basis of saving money, because you're never going to get to the place where you're saving 10% of your salary if you can't even just get the basics of not spending loads of money on just eating. So guys, I hope this was helpful. Again, if you like this content, make sure you like the video, make sure you like the page, and you can see more of what we got on Journey to 1 Million. I'll see you guys later. Bye.